This is the Big Mike Knows Best podcast. I'm the Nose, and today we will be talking about the Knicks. Now, game one was a little bit of a letdown, even though, they played hard. It was great to have them back at the Garden, but we need them to play better than that in crunch time. Now, here we go. Here's Mike. Go live with Big. You in? There we go. Finally. Yes. Yes. Knickerbockers, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, guy. Sorry I was a little late getting on. I had to change my shirt. I have a very strict one logo per outfit policy. Reminds me of a story back when Echo, for the older people out there, was a popular brand. This woman asked me if I liked the shirt, and it had like 5 rhinos on it. And I told her, I said, listen, it's nice, but I have very strict one rhino policy. And I never seen somebody laugh like this in my life. So,
one rhino per shirt. That's what we always said.
oh yeah, you know it.
Now, what I said in the beginning was we want to get into the Knicks. Now, it was really good to have them back in the playoffs. It was a lot of fun to watch. The Garden was electric, but we couldn't stop Trae Young. I was screaming at my TV for the Knicks to play defense and force the guy left. They just let him go by right every single time. Do you think there's any way we're going to be able to contain this guy this series? And do you think Randall can somehow pull his head out of his ass and play like he just didn't do shoulders right before the game?
Well, listen, look, Randall had a bad game, but he'll get a pass for one game from me. The guy's had a phenomenal season. I think the Knicks, that game is a microcosm, really, of what the Knicks actually are. The Knicks play hard. They're a tough team. There's no doubt about it. But we're lacking that real star power. And like Trae Young is not even one of the better superstars in the league, even though he is on the rise. And I like him. He's a great player. To me, the Hawks just have better overall talent than the Knicks, scoring-wise. I mean, we're relying on Alec Burks to score 30. We got a
Listen,
problem.
every possession for the Knicks feels like a lifetime.
Listen, he played great, and I'm not taking nothing away from the guy. Played awesome. But the Knicks, look, as bad as they played, they should have won the game. The Knicks were up 3. R.J. Barrett almost had a steal, and the ball fumbled into Bogdanovic's hand, and he hit it 3. The Knicks control the ball. There's about 30 seconds left. Knicks control the ball there. We win. It's 1-0, and we're talking about, it's a drastically different tone, to our, analysis of the game.
Yes, 100%. Randall, though, I want to go back onto the Randall subject. I mean, he played so bad. I mean, he's got to play better from here, right?
Well, listen, look, the guy had a bad game shooting. It happens. Nobody is perfect. He had a bad game. It happens. I don't care if the playoffs or not. He was just missing some shots. He also made a few big ones. He made a 3 that put him ahead by 1 down the stretch. I'm really not too worried about Randall. Randall's got to play better. What the Knicks' main focus has to be is anybody but Trae, and they got to make somebody else beat him. That's what I mean by that. They have to. Like you said, they got to force him. They can't let him just drive down the lane where he's either shooting a floater or passing out to an open.
Look, everybody has a hand. Everybody has a dominant hand, especially as a guard. If you can force him just to go left like 50% more of the time, it'll make a difference because he won't be as comfortable.
Well, that's true.
You got to make him uncomfortable.
That's true, but it's easier said than done. Listen, the guy's a great player, and that's what the Knicks have lacked for years is that guard play, that the other great teams have. You look at teams, the better teams, teams like the Nets, even the Celtics, they're not that good, but like Kemba Walker, is that kind of guard that can get in the lane. And Derrick Rose is a great player, don't get me wrong. But, he's a little, long in the tooth, and
they're trying to have the Rose pick up
like
magic that he just doesn't have anymore.
Well, he doesn't have that defense, and look, Trae Young just broke him down off the dribble, and that's.
Can we hold on? You just made me think of something. Can we talk about Elfrid Payton and why he's starting? Look, I get starting him during the regular season and preserving guys' legs over the course of a whole year, but can we play like there's a little bit more of a no tomorrow, mentality?
But you can't really say that. The guy might start the game, but he's only playing like 12, 15.
But we're not getting out to the start that we need to. Why not have a guard in there who can actually put some pressure on the Hawks defense? I mean, right now, they're just laying off Peyton. And I mean, and they're guarding Randall and
Yeah,
Barrett.
but Derrick Rose played the main minutes, and so did Emmanuel quickly. So you can't. I'm not worried about him starting. They want to give him a couple of minutes. I hear what you're saying. I mean, that's the Knicks' problem. Listen, the Knicks are a guy away. And as great a season as they had, the Hawks are the only team that maybe they can beat. And that's if everything goes right. But, it's not – look, the Knicks are headed in the right direction. It is what it is with the Knicks. Like, their ceiling is only so high. They don't have – the star power. Like, the Knicks will be in every game, but down the stretch is where, there are times when they don't get it done.
Like I said, every offensive possession for the Knicks feels like a lifetime. You're just begging for them to get the ball in the hoop somehow, some way. And, I mean, usually they do. I mean, next game, I was looking at a few player props, and something to look for is, I mean, you would have to think Randall's going to have a better game shooting. So I would definitely take his points, especially if they knock the number down a little bit. Another thing I was looking at is Trae Young's assists. Now, if you were the Knicks, you would be trying to get the ball out of his hands as much as possible. You'd be guarding him. He would have to recognize that and be kicking out and use his teammates. Now,
you're totally right about that, but the number's not going to be as good as you think. I mean, last game, 8 assists was basically even money. 10 was slightly plus.
You'd have to take him at 10 and put it with Randall scoring.
Well, listen, I like Randall scoring, of course. Listen, Randall, look, game 2, obviously, I don't need to say, is must win for the Knicks. They lose game 2, they're in big trouble. I fully expect the Knicks to bounce back, win game 2. This is going to be a long series. The team's very evenly matched. The Knicks are tougher than them, but they have a little bit more skill. They got Trae Young, but we have the grit inside. Like, they have.
Well, I'm worried about Nerlens Noel, man. I mean, if he's not 100%, or if he can't even go, let's say, we're gonna have Taj Gibson and Obi Toppin getting a lot of minutes, and even Pele, perhaps. I mean, that's not good.
Yeah, I don't think Pele is gonna be playing. Okay,
probably not.
The guy couldn't play for the Nets. Okay, and they got no size at all. I don't think he's gonna be playing for the. The playoff crunch time minutes for the Knicks. I'm not really worried about Pele playing.
No, I'm not worried about that either, but I'm worried about Taj Gibson playing a little bit too many minutes.
That brings me, to a new point. Let's talk about the Nets a little bit. Look.
The Nets.
I'm no Net fan. And they did not play well, but, dude, they're going to be tough to beat. There's no doubt.
I know.
You've got 3 guys that are just unstoppable. And I got to tell you, I mean, to me, the Celtics aren't really a challenge. I feel like the Nets are going to sweep them. The only thing that's a little concerning with me with the Nets that I noticed, even though Kyrie Irving had 27 points, I felt like he didn't have the ball enough. There was a lot of James Harden at the top of the key, dribbling between his legs, and doing his little step back jumper. And it's going to work against the Celtics because they don't have the kind of scoring or the defense necessary to give the Nets trouble. But they got to move the ball more. And Kyrie, to me, is a guy like you need him. He can't just be some off-the-ball spot-up shooter. He's got to have the ball in his hands a little bit.
Yeah, we've been saying it all year that they're better when only one of them's on the floor. And, I think they all should start. But I think as the game materializes, especially in the meat of the game, I think it should be Kyrie playing with Durant a little bit and then Harden playing with Durant a little bit. And then Harden and Kyrie.
Here's the thing. The rotation I personally would like to see is I'd like to see Kyrie in there a little bit more without either of them. Because Kyrie Irving is the type of guy that really you can't stop him, especially off the dribble. Like, what they're doing right now is they have Harden in the game to start the second quarter with the second unit. Now, I know why they're doing that because they feel like Harden can get to the line and dish off to the outside. But I feel like you put Kyrie Irving against team's second units, who's stopping him from scoring?
First units aren't stopping him. Nobody. There's not a guy on the planet that can handle like Kyrie. And like you said, him on a team where he could just take every shot, that would be more suited for his style, especially with Harden and Durant because they play well together.
Well, that's true, but listen, look, KD's going to take most of the shots because he's the best player. Everybody knows that. But to me, Harden's got to shoot a little less jumpers, and I would rather have Kyrie getting the ball and driving, and then Harden get kick out threes, not where he's dribbling all that Houston Rockets ball, where he's dribbling the ball out, taking the air out of the offense, and then just shooting up at three. Like, look, the Nets were lucky because they missed a lot of shots in the first half. That was probably the worst first half they played in a long time.
Yeah, but they turned it on. I mean, they could score 40 points in about 8 minutes.
Look, it pains me to say it, but if they're healthy, I just don't see the Nets losing. I mean, they got 3 of the best players in the league. It's just that's the bottom line. The best players win.
I mean, the Lakers may have something to say about that, but Anthony Davis has to pull his head out of his ass.
Well, listen, Anthony Davis looked like, he rolled out of bed at about 11 o'clock and had 2 Denny's Grand Slam breakfast before the game, okay? The guy was walking around like he didn't give a shit. I don't know.
No, I didn't know what that was. I mean, he was the reason why they lost, and it was shocking because in the game before the playoffs, right before the playoffs that the Lakers played the Suns, Anthony Davis was absolutely unstoppable. And, I mean, Ayton just schooled his ass. It was amazing to watch, I thought. But the Lakers, they lose a lot of game ones historically, especially LeBron. So we'll see how they come back.
Well, LeBron does, because for LeBron, game one's like a feeling out process. But I can tell you what they got felt out. They got felt out that Ayton's going to really bring it to AD when it should have been the other way around. AD should have welcomed him to the playoffs. Instead, he got his ass kicked by Ayton, who is a number 1 pick. And, you expect him to play well. But Chris Paul got hurt. They couldn't stop Booker. That's a concerning game. We'll see how they bounce back in game 2. But I'll tell you right now, Anthony Davis plays like that, like he just rolled out of bed. They're going to have they're not going to win.
No, I know.
Young, hungry teams out there that are not afraid of the Lakers. And I'll tell you, Anthony Davis, when you're playing like a wet towel out there, you have no chance. He's got to be. He really should be the best player on the court.
Yeah, he has to go out there and score 30 for LeBron. I mean, he is the wingman. There's no one else. Caldwell Pope doesn't have that responsibility. The balding Mamba doesn't have that responsibility. It's AD.
Well, listen, the fact that AD's been crowned one of the before the season, they had him ranked number 2 best player in the league. That's ridiculous. When the guy was on the Pelicans, he couldn't even get him into the playoffs. They never won a series with him. He's a nice, he's not really like the alpha dog out there. He wants to be led, and that's why him and LeBron mesh so well together, because a lot of these superstars are strong-headed and they want the ball. AD's fine, like we said, like walking around on the perimeter, but he's got to be aggressive. And he's got to take it to DeAndre Ayton. You got to get him in foul trouble. You can't be settling for 20-foot jumpers. Take him to the hole like you can do and work his ass. Like that. As simple as that for the Lakers.
He needs to be aggressive. I mean, he just looked heavy in the feet. I don't know what it was. I mean, I hope he shows a better showing, for game 2. Otherwise the Lakers are in trouble. But I can tell you one thing. Tell you one thing. We're talking about player prop bets. Anthony Davis to score next game after he insulted himself by his performance.
Yes, the bet on Wednesday night is Randall 35, AD 35. You can make a lot of money on that. The numbers are going to be down a little bit. Both guys should be the team's leading scorer, and it's must-wins time for the Knicks and the Lakers in series that I think no one's getting swept. It's not like the Lakers are going to lose in 5 or the Knicks are going to lose in 5. They're going to be tight. If you're looking for a bet, I like Randall and AD, although AD does make me nervous.
He makes me nervous too, but I could really see him coming out and playing like there's no tomorrow. Because after the game, he was calling himself out, putting the loss on him. I could really see him coming out and showing Ayton what.
The loss was on him. I mean, Ray Charles could see the loss was on him. He was terrible.
And I think Stevie Wonder could see the loss was on Randall. So I think those two as a parlay is a solid. And I mean, honestly, I would bet them individually too if you just want to make your money back no matter what. If both of them hit, you smash. If they don't, whatever. But you can also parlay them for accelerated odds at their points and try to make some money.
Look, game 1 is a feeling out process. Look, the game 1 for the Suns is way more important than game 1 for the Lakers. Okay,
they
Suns had to win that game. If the Lakers won that game, they would have really been doubting themselves. The Suns win the game, all right. LeBron's been here, done that. We'll see what happens with them. The Knicks, that was a big loss. Now all the pressure turns to them on game 2. They got to win.
Yeah.
You go down 2-0. it might be a short series. So
There is, but I can see the Knicks having heart and really grinding it out for those games, especially if they got down 2-0.
You don't want to fall behind 2-0. It's
No, definitely not.
4 out of 5 against the Hawks. The Hawks are a solid team. You know, everybody's talking about the Knicks turnaround of how good they are, but the Hawks won 19 games last year. Now, for them, they're the same as the Knicks, and they're very underrated. You know, listen, look, I like the Hawks. I like the way they play. It sucks for me that they're playing the Knicks because I do like them, but you know, you're looking at almost like a carbon copy of yourself, a young team on the rise. You know,
with a couple more playmakers, way more offense.
Well, built a little differently. Look, the Knicks have plenty of offense to win. Listen, they lost a game by a point where Randall shot 6 for 20. So he makes a couple of shots, they win easy. So let's see what happens in game 2. I don't want to rush to judgment. I'll tell you one team though that, you know, it gets, as Yogi Berra used to say, it gets late early around here is the LA Clippers. Okay, they lost game 1. Listen, look, they tanked to avoid the Lakers. Now they got Luka in the first round, and he took it to him. He is not scared of them. Do you know Luka has played 7 career playoff games, all against the Clippers, the greatest wing defenders of all time, Paul George and Kawhi. You know what he's averaging? 31, 10, and 10. That is ridiculous, okay? He's dominating them. They cannot stop him. If I'm the Clippers, you talk about a must-win, they better come out in game 2 with a real sense of urgency right from the jump, or they're going to be looking at a real early exit.
Now, if you were going to bet that game, going and looking at that game, you're saying the Clippers are going to have urgency. Who would we be looking at? I mean,
I'd be looking at Kawhi Leonard. I don't trust, you know, Pandemic P, as they call him.
Yeah, Paul George.
I'd be betting Kawhi. The only guys I'm betting in that game, I'm betting Kawhi Leonard, and I'm betting Luka.
What about Markieff Morris?
I mean, listen, I don't really like to take fringe guys. You could do that. I mean, look, he could definitely score. But I would just stick with Kawhi. I feel like Kawhi is going to come out and let people know who the MVP is. First of all, the dunk that he had over Maxi Kleber was ridiculous. Okay? You know, it was great that, you know, the Clippers found the time to talk shit, you know, in between bricking shots and blowing fourth quarter leads. You know, that part of it was great. So, you know, great. You had a nice dunk, but he's got to come out and, you know, assert his will on the team because the Clippers are a better team than the Mavericks.
Yeah, but they should win that series. It's nonsense. I mean, Porzingis
they got no answers for Luka. They don't.
Yeah, no, they don't. They can't stop him. The only way they stopped him last year was when Markieff Morris started getting physical with him and banged him up a little bit. You know, they were getting in each other's faces.
Well, they have a strategy of, you know, trying to get Porzingis ejected and, you know, hurt Luka's ankle. It's a hell of a strategy. You know?
Hey, if they're gonna fall for it, they should do it.
See how it works out for them. But you know, they gotta get back to their bread and butter, which is playing defense. Don't let Luka just dominate the game. But I don't know, man. You know, the Clippers can look good for 3 quarters, but they have something missing with them, something in their head. And now every time they get down, you know, there are teams that expect to win. Teams that are like waiting to lose, and that's kind of them right now.
Well, you want to know what the Clippers are missing? Fucking camaraderie. They never play during the regular season. They haven't been in the storm together for enough games. All this load management. Kawhi never plays. They get guys off every other day. They're never there as a cohesive unit. And it shows when they play a guy like Luka, where he keeps everyone involved, and they're going through it with Luka. You know, that's the difference.
It just kind of shows you, like Kawhi Leonard, he's a great player, but a leader of men is not really his strength. He's more like he's quiet. That's why he was so good on the Spurs. You know, the leaders of that team were Manu Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan. You know, Kawhi could just blend in. Even with Toronto, that was Kyle Lowry's team. Okay, he was the spokesman, that face of the team. Even though Kawhi was the best player, no doubt. So now he comes to the Clippers. This is why he really should have signed with the Lakers. I mean, I'm glad he didn't because it would have sucked the league. But Kawhi Leonard as the guy, it's a lot different being the man.
It is.
You know, so for him, it's a lot tougher, and you know, it shows. And they're missing something. I don't know what it is, but they got too much talent to be losing to the Mavericks.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I want to switch the subject a little bit about there's a couple games tonight. Now, what do you think about Lillard and Jokic tonight? They seem to be the guys that each team, you know, the big men on the Blazers can't stop Jokic, and the guards can't stop Lillard.
I think Portland's winning that series, and the games might be tight, but when Michael Porter Jr., great player, but, without the experience of Jamal Murray, it's a tall task for them to think they can win. You got Damian Lillard, who's as clutch as they come in. They got guys that have been there. Look, Carmelo had a great game first game.
He looked like vintage Melo. Me and my friends
they're relying on a 22-year-old Michael Porter, and he's playing great, no doubt. But, to rely on him and Jokic, that's why Jokic's the MVP, whatever. He had a great season. It's a joke. It's a Jokic that he's the MVP, okay? Because, he's not the best player in the league. He had a great
Steph Curry
season,
not making the playoffs didn't help his cause,
well, Steph Curry was the MVP in the league. They would have won about 5 games without him.
I know. They were terrible without him. Terrible. I mean, I can't tell you enough. Wiggins was so bad against the Grizzlies. He's just a brick. I can't believe the Warriors were even in that game. Like Steph Curry, I think, I hope he was the MVP. I have that bet.
Look, speaking of the Grizzlies, well, he's not. He's not even one of the finalists. So
he's not?
No, it's Embiid, Jokic, and oh no, wait, it is Curry. Yeah, you're right. He is.
Yeah, I thought so. I could have sworn I saw that.
Embiid, Jokic, and Curry, but you look at the live betting lines. I think Jokic is like -5,000. So.
Oh, really? So it's like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, you're not winning that one.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Grizzlies, look, they beat the Jazz, and I'll tell you what, the Knicks. There's rumblings that Donovan Mitchell was not happy that they didn't play him. I mean, I don't know why.
We have somebody in here right now, Tim Powell 5. He wants to talk about the Islanders. Now, I know you like the Islanders. I mean, that's not really my cup of tea. I'm a Red Wings fan. We haven't been good since Yzerman retired, but
yeah, I know you're a loser. Okay.
Shit. I'll get my Yzerman jersey out right now if I have to.
Yeah, most unlucky thing of all time.
God, yes.
Look, the Islanders, must win for them. Obviously, look, the Islanders are a tough, hard-nosed team. They lack a little bit of scoring, even though last game, they dominated from start to finish. The Islanders are a tough team, man. There's no doubt about it.
That series is 2-2 now. I'm correct?
Yeah, and, Islanders going, back to Pittsburgh. I think I'm pretty sure they're playing Game 5 in Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby's one of the best players in hockey, so,
honestly, that game the other night that they lost, where Sidney Crosby made that great defensive play where he poke checked them right as he was about to shoot, just shows you that he can impact the game even when he doesn't score. He's great. I'll never forget. He got every tooth knocked out of his mouth and came back and played in one. In years
Milwaukee,
ago.
I just got an update. Milwaukee, 15 threes in the first half. They're up 78-51 on Miami, kicking their ass.
Yeah, talk about a revenge series.
Well,
you have 2 of them. You have Luka against the Clippers. You also got Giannis against
yeah, but
Miami.
Pulling out Game 1 for Milwaukee was huge just for their psyche, because they lose that game. It would have been a real problem for them. Like they had to win that game for their confidence. And now they're out there balling. And Miami's had a rough season, a lot of injuries.
It's not their year.
Nope.
It's just not. It might be, honestly. I am praying for later on in the playoffs to get the Bucks Nets, because it'll be interesting to see which will prevail, not stopping Giannis or not being able to stop the Nets. Because during the year, Giannis dominated.
Listen, I'll tell you, if Kevin Durant's healthy, the Nets are not losing to anybody.
Yeah, maybe not.
They're not. They're just not. They're too good. Listen. They just are. You're not going to lose. That's if they're healthy, though.
I personally think the only team in the East that can beat the Nets is the Bucks.
No, the Sixers could beat them. The Sixers
I don't think
have
the Sixers
chance.
have the guard play.
Tough. Yes, they do. The Sixers have the defense. Okay, Ben Simmons is a great defender. Tobias Harris is a real big body. I'm not saying he can stop Durant, but he can lean into Durant, give him some trouble, and they have no answers for Embiid at all. None.
Yeah.
So the Sixers aren't like the sexy team. Everybody is like kind of overlooking them. Angelo.
Well, I'm overlooking them. Look, as good as they've been.
Angelo King over there, Nets in 4. Keep dreaming, buddy. Okay, they might beat the Celtics in 4, but they ain't beating the Sixers in 4. You can book that. You can take that one to the bank.
Well, look, what Embiid is going to do to the Nets in that series, what I can imagine. First off, they have no rim protection, nothing down low. He is going to have a field day, and if he's motivated, which I know he is, he's going to dominate them. I can't wait for that.
Embiid will get 40 a game against the Nets in his sleep if he doesn't get in foul trouble. Listen, he scored 30 in Game 1, and he had 3 fouls. He played 9 minutes in the first half, still had 30. you talk about a bet, take Embiid against the Wizards. If the game is not a 30-point blowout, he is scoring 35 in his sleep against them. They can't stop him either. No chance.
I mean, he might be the real MVP, first place in the East. I mean,
he is. They got the best record in the East, and he's one of the most unstoppable forces in basketball. He really
he's got moves like Olajuwon. You know,
he really does, and he can shoot the three. He's a great player, no doubt.
He's dominant. I can really
sleep on them. Look, the Nets the best team probably.
I sleep on them.
I wouldn't sleep on Embiid. Let me tell you something, because the Sixers are a real good defensive team when it comes down to it. And when you need a bucket late in the game, Embiid is as unstoppable as Durant is in his own right, the way that he's going to get the ball against the Nets. So it'll be interesting to see. I hope we get that series, no doubt.
Yeah, me too. Angelo King is asking, who's the rookie of the year? I mean, I think it belongs to Anthony Edwards.
No doubt.
But I think they're going to give it to Ball. I think they might give it to Ball.
Listen, look, you want to talk about the first – if the rookie of the year – listen, I'll say this. If the rookie of the year was based on the first 25 games of the season, LaMelo Ball would win it unanimously. But it's not. It's the whole season. And Anthony Edwards missed no time, and he just got better and better as the season went along. He was the guy that scored. He had 40-point games. When, Ball missed a lot of games. Ball didn't even really start for the team.
I know.
So for him to be considered rookie of the year, to me, I don't see it. I think it's Anthony Edwards easily. But we'll see. Like you said, the narrative is they want LaMelo Ball to win it. But Anthony Edwards, to me, that guy has got all-star written all over him.
He's unstoppable. Really, if he makes shots, as we always say.
Well, the guy gets wherever he wants on the court. At the beginning of the season, he wasn't making anything, and we bet him on a bunch of different times to score 25 points, where he was like 6 for 20. But the guy's unstoppable, and when he puts it all together, he gets a jump shot, gets a little more consistent. There's going to be no stopping him at all.
He has an NBA body, as we like to say, a Luka Short like body.
He does, man. Anthony Edwards is the real deal. There's no doubt about it.
I wanted to bring up R.J. Barrett a little bit. Now, R.J. Barrett, I mean, that dunk he had was insane. That got my chest pumping. I love that. Then he looks like he's really growing as a player. Now, we may have not gotten Zion or Ja, but I really like where the Knicks are going with R.J., and I wouldn't trade him for almost
anything. Listen, I love R.J. Barrett, but to me, again, with the Knicks, it's the wing guys are all nice, but the Knicks got the worst guards of any team in the playoffs that are good. You're not winning with guard play like that. And I'm not saying that the Knicks guys are even bad. Burks played great, so did Rose, but they're not matching up with Kyrie and Harden.
Well, no one is, though.
Well, I know no one is, but I'm even like Ben Simmons, he's better than any guard we got.
I know, even though he can't.
Holiday's better than the Knicks guys when it comes down to it. He is.
I know.
Trae Young, better than the guys we have. Any good team that the Knicks come up against, we don't have the better guard. And that's going to be when the Knicks really take the next step as to be like really serious perennial contenders. They're going to have a guard like that.
Yeah. I don't know where are we going to get it from? Is it going to be in the draft? I mean, we have two firsts next year. Who knows?
Listen, hopefully one of these stars demands a trade, like Damian Lillard. That's what I want. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Please. All right, well, I think that's enough for tonight. I mean, listen,
one more quick thing.
We like
player
Randall.
Of the year.
We like
one
Randall
more quick
and
thing
AD.
For defensive player of the year, that's another one that's up there. The fact that Rudy Gobert is going to win it, to me, is an absolute joke. Okay, the guy doesn't come out within 5 feet of the rim. Look, is he good around the rim? Yeah, he's great. But you look at a guy like Draymond Green, that's a defensive player of the year. He guards 5 positions. Yes. He can do it all. He gets 100%. In passing lanes. He's the heartbeat of the team. Rudy Gobert is just the guy that was licking people and gave everybody COVID, okay? He ain't the answer for me for defensive player of the year.
No.
For me, it would be Draymond. I don't think he's going to win it. I think it's an absolute joke that Rudy Gobert is going to win. Why? Because he's big and block shots when the guy
I totally
from
agree.
The weak side, absolutely not.
Draymond Green is the heart and soul of that team.
Look, I would give it to Ben Simmons over him too. Ben Simmons plays phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Me too. Ben Simmons. To me, it's either Simmons or Draymond. I think it could go to Simmons only because they finished first in the East, and I think they're going to value that.
Well, yeah. Well, I think that they want to give it to Gobert, which I don't know why. Even in the All-Star game, he was the last guy picked in the All-Star game. If they had 70 guys in, he would still be the last guy picked.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
He's just like, listen, I'm not racist, but he's just like a French asshole. Like, that's what he is. like a pompous ass, walking around, breathing all over microphones and stuff. It was
what he did during the coronavirus, that was uncalled for.
Yeah,
It didn't
he really showed
rise
his
his stock.
ignorance. He really showed his ignorance, and him and Donovan Mitchell, they don't really get along, and that's why I'm kind of hoping that maybe Donovan Mitchell will be coming to the Knicks one day. We could have had a draft.
He's already been
Listen,
aggravated.
Listen, we could have had Donovan Mitchell in the draft, but now we took another French asshole, Frank Ntilikina. Okay, so it's just something with these French guys.
Speaking
Let's
of
try
Frank
to avoid
Ntilikina,
them.
you don't play the whole game, and now you're coming in for the final possession with a headband on, no less, where he's never had one, really. He looked ridiculous. I didn't even recognize him when he walked on the floor, and then they said it was Frank.
Listen, I don't even blame him for that. It's hard to fault him to come in. You got to ask him come in cold and stop Trae Young. It's not happening.
As if he's Bruce fucking Bowen or something. Like, get the fuck out of here. Just leave in who's playing.
I agree with that one. Even though Derrick Rose is getting abused off the dribble, it is what it is. I wouldn't be bringing, Frankie Smokes in.
Listen, we don't have the defense to hang with Trae, but they need to change their approach. They need to force him left. But
what they need to do? Foul the shit out of him once hard. Yeah. And I don't mean to hurt him, but you got to let him feel you, man. This guy's going in the lane, shooting these uncontested floaters. Hit him in the fucking chest, man. You got to do that. You got to
bring in Pele off the bench
a little bit. He's got free reign to do whatever he wants.
Listen, bring in Pele off the bench and have him clothesline him. That'll get the juice.
Well, yeah, I would give him a hard foul. You got to do that, no doubt. You don't just let the guy walk down the lane and dominate your team.
No,
you can't do it.
So the next game, on the night that the Knicks play, which is Wednesday, we really like Randall and Anthony Davis to score. I think that is
that's definitely going to be a bet for me. I'm going to be taking Randall and AD, no doubt about it. I also in the Clipper game, I love Kawhi Leonard. I just don't think the Clippers are gonna just fold up, and he's the guy I would trust the most on them. I really like Kawhi Leonard. AD scares me a little. I'm not gonna lie, just because we have a kid that we played basketball with, and he was a good player, but sometimes he would come in with his pajama pants on and just played like absolute dog shit. And we'd be like, yo, can you wake the fuck up? And that's what AD looked like. We would call him Pajama AD.
Yeah, but that same guy does wake up and he plays great. AD needs to do the same.
No, listen, he can be great. AD
needs to do the same.
If he lays off the weed pen in the Denny's Grand Slam, he could be great. Could be great. And there are times when he's great. But there's also times when I'd like to choke him. And that's how I felt with AD last game. He cost us money. We'll see how he bounces back in game 2.
Yeah, which I think he will bounce back. He's too good of a player not to.
No doubt about it.
Hey, listen, that's all for today. This video will also be on YouTube at Big Mike Knows Best, as well as on our Instagram Live TV. We want to take this time to welcome in a new sponsor that is taking over, and they want us to promote some of their products, and it's called Smooth My Balls. Now, Smooth My Balls, if you're not familiar, they are a man your man bush. It's a trimmer. Now, it's called the hedge chopper or the turf chopper, right? Yes, it's the turf chopper.
I'm gonna let you
The turf chopper. I was using it the other day. It just glides over your balls. All right, the thing is great. You can dig it in and it won't cut you. Now, if everyone here should be going to smoothmyballs.com right now and mentioning Big Mike Knows Best in the promo code. That is your best way to keep your man bush all trimmed up and nice for you, and nice for your significant other and just the ladies in general. Mike, what did you think about the trimmer?
Well, I'm still waiting for mine to arrive in the mail. I know you got yours already, but I look forward to trying it out so I can give a more accurate review.
I'm telling you, man, you can run this thing over an egg.
Listen, one thing I do know, they have this a product that I do look forward to using is called the Pube Muncher, because sometimes you get it all over the bathroom.
Yes, the Pube
your wife
Muncher.
Or your girlfriend, they don't like that.
Yes.
They don't like to get up your hair. So,
yes.
We appreciate this new sponsor coming in as we try to get our podcast off the ground. Hopefully someday we can, reward Smooth My Balls faith in Big Mike Knows Best.
I'll tell you, the pube muncher is amazing. It's just this little circle that has a face on it, and it has a suction, and it'll suck up all your pubes so it doesn't clog your drain. Save you some money on your plumbers, and you won't be snaking out your, you won't be snaking out your drain as much. Smoothmyballs.com. Everybody go look for it. Sign it off. Big Mike knows best.